Must be a past 3 Earthshaker at this point. Like, you can still run
Yeah.
the core monkey. I'm just wondering, like, what the hell's going on here? It's a very open draft. Very hard to kind of draft against it if you're Omega Esports now, because you've got to be kind of wondering what they're doing as well. You just got to kind of wonder what Boom's up to. Omega, fourth pick up for themselves. Again, I dare say they're going to have a bit of difficulty trying to come up with some picks now. So you can just switch up every hero if you really want to here for Boom. It's the weird state of Dota now, right? Because pretty much any hero, it feels like, can just be played as a support if you really want to. You know, 5 years ago, that wouldn't be a thing. But these days, it's just like, yeah, we could play this as support, no problem. Omega, they'll go for the LC. So a bit of a safer pickup.
Yeah, it gives them some good Dispel on hand to deal with Bane. So you've got the press the attack to cancel off the grip, cancel off the nightmare. As long as you're not caught out as a Legion commander first. It's strong enough in lane, you know, you play with the overwhelming odds. You can go for the moment of courage build as well in terms of trading right clicks. You can build up there for Van. It still doesn't fix their team fight issue though. Like, you look at the control from Boom with a Shaker, with a Bane, and a Monkey King, they have a lot of ways of forcing a big 5v5. Whereas for Omega, again, it still lies on line for the wide AoE control. To a certain extent, Void Spirit with the Yags, but the LT is still like mainly a single target hero. And the main benefit of that is press the attack with the Yag Shard. So I think there might be some issues down the line. They do protect themselves from the Bane, to be fair. But that's an offlane pick to counteract a pause 5. And that's a pretty heavy committal to just prevent the Bane from being an issue here.
Yeah, I'd say so. Final banouts. Boom Esports naturally going to focus in on the position 1s here because, you know, Omega doesn't have one. Kind of curious what Omega bans. So I think the safest bet is the Yopaj heroes, right? Like, it does feel like there's no mid laner right now for Boom. They've only got 3 seconds reserve time left, so they've got to have some quick thinking here. Ember is still open for Yopaj if he wants to go down that route, at least for now, but there is one ban left here for Omega Esports to get rid of it if they so wish. Any other mids you'd like to see here from Japoi?
Invoker could work. I think you've got Monkey King, you've got Shaker. You can kind of build off on Teamfight. Alacrity's great on the Weaver. And you can play with early Sunstrike as well with a Bane on hand. Even a Monkey King and Shaker can help you set up. So the Invoker could be a good way of running it for Boom if they want to. There's also the cheeky options for, say, Wind Ranger, Sand King mid. Not particularly great heroes, I think, right now, but it's Japoi. You know, he likes running some of those heroes on mid sometimes when he's feeling it. So maybe those slide through. I think the Invoker is probably your best bet. Matchup against the Void Spirit's not too bad. Again, you can amp up your Weaver. You can provide more team fight and control for your team and just get running. There's nothing to punish an Invoker here outside of the Void Spirit Ag's timing, but that does take a little bit of time to build up.
Certainly does. They do get rid of the Ember here for Omega, so I think the Invoker pick you brought up does seem like a pretty attractive option now for Boom Esports if they want to go down that route. So against any of the Spirit heroes, especially the Ember and Void Spirit, the Invoker can be quite annoying because the Cyclone or the Tornado does purge off the shields, which is probably really frustrating for those poor Ember and Void players. But no!
Oh!
We have a Skywrath Mage coming out. And I'm pretty confident this is a mid Skywrath.
Oh boy, they're doing it again. Boom's done this a couple of times where they pick something absolutely out there for their mid. It used to be the Sand King, then it became a staple. They tried this Gyrocopter mid that I will always remember, and I'm sorry, Japoi, he's never going to treat me now. But that was not a great game. I think the Skyrat is a much more natural fit for mid. Against a Void Spirit, it's actually pretty good control. Right, the silence is good, the damage amp is great. You have strong combinations with a Bane.
Oh.
They will run the Monkey King mid, okay? So they don't go that far off field.
Wait. Who's... Okay, it is a Tim Sky. Okay, it's a Tim Sky. I was a bit worried there for a second because CTM hadn't picked Weaver yet. And I'm like, wait a minute. What about POS 1 Skywrath Mage? Is that possible? But it's not. So Tim's will take it. Our dreams have been shattered, Jonathan. We're not going to see the mid Skywrath Mage coming out. Still it's an okay Skywrath Mage game. I think the problem is you have the LC to purge off the silence, which is going to be a little bit frustrating. But problem is Van has so many things to purge off this game with the press the attack that you might really have to choose very carefully if you're Van.
Yeah, I think what you can do here is silence the Legion Commander, then Grip or Nightmare the Void Spirit. And those are the only two targets you need to pin down, because they're the most annoying heroes to deal with, especially the Void Spirit. You don't have the best lockdown for him outside of those silences. So you just kind of pop your first piece of control on the LC, pop the next one on the Void Spirit or Troll, depending on what target you see, and run from there. I think overall the draft for Omega is a little bit better. It is still lacking team fight, but they have really good scaling with the Troll. Much easier time to pull off for Prince. He's not under pressure to look for RPs and skewer backs. He can just focus on farm, depend on his Void Spirit to make plays, and his Legion Commander to an extent, and kind of play from there. Boom still have this really strong lineup. They have great combinations with Grip, with the Flare coming true from the Skyrat Mage down the line. They have good control with the Wukongs and the Shaker with the Fissure. So there's a lot of team fight for Boom, but I think Omega has the tools to play with. I still think Boom is going to be able to get the edge here. Like, Yopaj and Monkey King we haven't seen in quite some time, but the matchup against Void Spirit's really not too bad. Like, you do have that physical shield on a Void Spirit, but Monkey King's physical damage is so strong, you're just going to burn through that Resonant Pulse really fast.
Certainly so. We'll get into it though, John. Game number 2. I think you've already kind of answered the hard question. It does seem like you are kind of favoring Boom Esports here with their draft and just their overall play. We'll see what Omega have to say about that though, as we do get into it. Game number 2. Very intrigued to see how this all pans out. There's been a lot of questions as well about this Skyrath Mage pickup, right? Like, it's received buffs over and over again. We still don't get to see it, but it does seem like with all the brand new items that have been coming out, with all the buffs it's had, you would think that this hero is slowly becoming quite viable.
Yeah, I think it is. It just has pretty sensitive timings. I think the Skyrat just loses a lot of impact once BKBs are up, and that's a big issue. Good smoke break with Vando.
Oh, but concussive shots there. Fisher's going to land. Do they have the damage output? That's a big overwhelming odds out from Van. That'll help him out to get out. And he'll be fine. In fact, now it's going to be Boom Esports that's in trouble. CTM, he's dropping low, but they'll go after Zenki. No problem here for Boom quite yet. Instead, now they'll turn onto Yopaj, the Earth Spike. It's going to land. Van, though, coming back in. Yopaj, he's going to drop first. Omega, they get the first what they're looking for, but now a big fish around FBZ. Stunning 3 up. Hero is going to drop. They are still trying to chase down this Weaver. Prince, he should eventually find him. CTM, he does not have Sakuchi up. He will drop another for Boom Esports. Is now Omega. They'll keep trying to chase more. I think overall, it does favor the side of the tire. And Boom Esports, yeah, it was a 2-for-3 trade. That'll be enough. Omega, they'll be happy with that.
That's a big win for Omega. They're going to be able to secure their bounties as well. So 2-for-2 start. They did have to commit 2 sentries. So the supports will have to kind of pick up more to stabilize that Weaver lane. But they punished something that Boom's known for. Like, we've seen Boom do this from the time most of their players were on OB Neon. They love these level 1 fights. And Omega were in the right spot to break the smoke, to intercept, to force their own pressure and build up. Boom's got to be a bit cautious. That's a good gold injection for Omega. Still, we'll see the lanes break out here. Mike Timms does head up top with FBZ on the Shaker. They are laning up against Prince and Zenki on that Troll and Enchantress. And the lane for Boom's a bit tough. This is not a very easy lane. Shaker, as a hero, just kind of soaks lane until he hits level 2, level 3. The Skyrat Mage can apply pressure, but the physical damage from Prince and from Zenki makes it really easy to trade favorably. Sky just doesn't have base armor to deal with, and Zenki, with the early impetus, can just shoot him down if he's not careful.
Oh, it's certainly a favorable lane here for the side of Omega. As I say that, I think both teams have kill potential in this lane, but against an Enchantress Troll, it's just very hard to win the lane. We'll have a look a bit later on with this lane. As mid lane, Yopaj and Piol's going to be against each other. So you've got the Monkey King Void Spirit matchup. You kind of talked about this one already during the drafting phase, but you were seemingly favoring the Monkey King here in this laning matchup.
Yeah, I think for the Void Spirit, you have to get your Remnant use on point every single time. You have to catch this Monkey King to prevent him from just overwhelming the lane. In terms of wave clear, it is tougher for a Monkey King. But every single time you walk up to try to CS, you will just cop Jingu stacks, and once that's built up, if the Boundless Strike comes in, it becomes really easy for Yopaj to swing that entire engagement back, and it becomes a bit awkward for the Void Spirit. So, just important to keep landing the Remnants, keep applying that pressure, playing around with the Resonant Pulse while it's up. But until like level 2, level 3 Resonant Pulse, the shield is really not going to absorb much damage. Yopaj is just going to burn it.
Tim's going to go down top lane. They were very, very close to picking off Prince, but not quite enough damage was there. In the meantime, bottom lane, Hero currently being chased down here by Hyde, but does get a nice Earth Spike off. They will have to let the Lion run back towards the fountain. I suppose in the meantime, they can attempt to apply pressure on Van, though it can be rather difficult because it is still a Legion commander, and Van can just continue to sustain himself throughout this laning phase. While we're here, John, bot lane, do you favor Boom? Do you favor Omega?
I think Boom has a bit of a better time in terms of just getting your CS. There's not much the LC can do to completely zone out the Weaver. You can get some good overwhelming odds on a ranged hero, but it's kind of hard to just see CTM completely shoved out. You can get some good presence with a Hyde here as well. You can set up for Nightmare if they do feel cheeky, or just cut off that engagement. And there is still good potential though. With the stuns out, Hero can definitely lock in that Weaver down the line.
While you were speaking about that, John, mid lane, or rather top lane again, Prince able to secure another kill here onto Tim. So great start for the Troll thus far with 2-0. Tim's really unable to get too much done. I think this is one thing that we just kind of get reminded of with the Skywrath Mage, is whenever you're against this hero, you just buy a magic stick. And you're going to have so much value from that. Just nothing that you can really do against it. You already see Prince, he's got the magic wand up, naturally, because, you know, there's just so many charges to be had. And you can just kind of outplay the Skywrath, because he doesn't really have the most burst damage until you hit level 6.
Yeah, and for a Skywrath Mage, EXP is so important to build up. Now, Tim's is just shoved out of lane. So he's just giving FBZ solo EXP, but that means your timing sets the Sky are going to be delayed massively.
Paj mid lane going to be in a bit of danger. PO's not going to go too much further. While this is happening mid lane, we have a third kill out for Prince now. Zenki rotates with the Dark Troll Summoner. You get a nice easy ensnare off on the Earthshaker. And I'll tell you what, for a second game in a row, Omega, they appear to be winning practically every lane apart from the mid lane.
Yeah, this is, again, something we saw from Omega in the first game. They play the laning phase really well. I think they do have the heroes to smooth out their execution in the mid game as well. So this is good news for Omega. They are getting the answers, getting the farm they need on their key heroes. The side of Boom are off to a slower start. They do manage to punish and kill off the Lion down bot with Tim's rotation in. But this is such a starved game for a Sky. Tim's is still level 2, about to hit 3. Compare that to Hyde, who's already 3 and a quarter in. You want the EXP to flow into a Sky. It's such a greedy hero EXP-wise, but he's not getting that space.
Paj, maybe you've gone too far here, sir. Earth Spike is going to land underneath the tier 1 tower. He needed one more hit to get the kill, but he's not going to have the opportunity. Piols, he does secure the kill. And John, I'd hate to say it, but in the meantime, FBZ's dropped again. Zenki the one to pick up this kill. But boy, oh boy, things are getting very rough here during this laning stage for Boom Esports.
Yeah, it's down to their lanes. Their top lane duo is just fairly weak, especially when we leave that Earth Spirit solo. It just doesn't do much. FBZ is level 3, and it's just the issue of Earthshaker as a core right now. He just soaks the lane, tries to get CS, but he's not very effective at it. So it's a very passive lane. It's so easy to punish that with the Ench. Just the early activity to lane domination and Enchantress provides can make it very easy for the Troll to jump back in, build some fervor stacks, and just clean up. And while they do that, they can also just build up stacks with the Enchantress in between. So you're getting everything you want on Omega. There's no punishment from Boom. And Boom, I think the key thing for them is to just hit level spikes. Level 7 in Yopaj is a pretty good point in the Monkey King. Level 5 has to come out for Tims at the minimum to get the 1-3-1 build with the Ancient Seal up. That's when you can do some damage. And it's just, again, down to the Sky not having a great game here.
Oh, Tims. There'll be another kill here for Piols now, the third of the game. Omega continue this great aggression. In the meantime, Hero might get caught out, and does. The Boundless Strike will be enough from Yopaj. So you do get a bit of a trade going across the map. Still, it just feels so much more favorable right now for Omega. 4-9, 1k net worth advantage. And with a kind of draft like this, Omega, they really could just take off with such a great start.
Yeah, they are really building up. Zenki might get caught out, though.
He may. Stun was there, but it should not save him. Yopaj should have enough damage to secure the kill. Tims was about to take it, but the Fairy Fire allows Yopaj to take it instead. So I suppose the Fairy Fire actually kind of helps out Boom Esports there.
Yep, you need to build up that Monkey King. They will catch Tims out again, though.
Nice Fisher though, FBZ blocks the way, but Piols is there with the 8th Remnant, and now the stun coming in. But again, across the map, they do still pick off the Lion. So it's going to be another support trade across the map.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. You're sacrificing your pause fours, both pause fours on both teams not having a great time. Lion still stuck at level 3, given a solo lane, at the least Tim's is now 4. But I think overall, Omega's still getting a little bit more. Your Troll is certainly farming a lot faster than the Weaver at this moment, and can play in the jungle if need be, very efficiently with the Whirling Axis leveled up. So you can clear out stacks fairly quick, you can just build up, hit these power spikes with a Maelstrom, maybe a Diffusal or SNY afterwards, and play from there. CTM though, does have his Falcon Blade, does have the Javelin flying in, I believe, for the Maelstrom, so his damage output's looking good. With a Weaver though, it feels like early levels you don't necessarily want to join up in these early fights. You kind of want to hit perhaps a Maelstrom timing first, run from there. We used to see Weavers rotate mid with the Javelin. Hasn't happened much recently.
That it has not. Dan, he's going to cop a bit of damage here on the LC, but no real threat of him dying. Just be fine to back himself out. Zenki again trying to get aggressive onto Tims. Enchant is going to be there, but another nice Fisher from FBZ. He's calibrated the Fishers now. In fact, Yopaj going to rotate over. And eventually Zenki should drop. So the 3rd kill there for the Monkey King. So Omega, they are rotating and they are still going after Tims. Eventually, no, a nice boundless strike, Yopaj. He will not save the day, but the Fisher follow-up is there. Prince, he's forced to pop the battle trance, but the Nightmare is going to be taken off by this Lion. Hyde now being chased down. FBZ, he's trying to help out, but he's been hexed up and is going to drop. Prince, he'll still try to run. CTM, no, a nice Earth Spike hero. It's not going to be enough. Yopaj, he still jumps through the tree line, able to pick up the kill, and it looks like they'll find the Lion another time. So ultimately, you'd have to claim that that's a boom win at that top lane.
Yeah, they make it work this time. They managed to clean up the big core. They slow down the Troll at last, finally breaking off that streak and giving the kills away to Yopaj. Very important for him to build up. This Monkey King has been off to a bit of a slower start, but he is starting to catch up right behind CTM and Farm, and CTM is only behind Prince. They might be able to catch up Van here as well.
They may. Van, as the attack away, it's not going to be enough quite yet. Yopaj, he's still in the chase with the Jingu Mastery, though Prince is going to intercept, but there's your Echo Slam out. It was not within range, though, to connect onto Van, so Van's going to be just fine to run. Meanwhile, FBZ is still being haunted by a Tomato. Hellbear Smash will not leave the man alone, giving all the vision they need to jump back in with PLs to be able to secure the Earthshaker kill. But now Zenki might drop. Yopaj trying to go for the chase, but the block is there. Nightmare to try and save. It's not enough quite yet, or maybe it is. They have put the Troll to sleep. Yopaj, he's still trying to run, trying his absolute best, but there's no way out. Nice rotation in from Prince and PLs. In fact, they'll find another. Hyde will get caught out. Great rotations in from Omega.
Yeah, they're now putting the pressure onto Boom. They managed to get the kills. This opens up a bit of a bot tier 1 push for Prince as well. And with the Troll, that doesn't take too long. You are seeing CTM play top. You know, his Weaver is also getting some space out. Does have the goal to just finish up the Maelstrom, so his damage timing is spiking up. But it's only really your Weaver. Like, you are starting to lag behind on Yopaj once more after catching up for a bit. And even FBZ is behind the Legion Commander, so not a good point for the Shaker. Still, Yopaj shows up. Looks like they want to make sure that top tier 1 push will go as smooth as possible.
Pretty easy here for Boom. No contest to come out from Omega.
Dire's top tower.
Look at that farm of the Troll though. Prince, he's having a really nice time down at that bot side. Farming way faster than CTM at the moment, and once you've got that Maelstrom up, things become infinitely better here for Prince.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not really much in the way of slowing him down either. Like we saw that last team fight, they tried to just Nightmare Prince up, but well, even that wasn't enough. And you didn't even have to deal with Van with the press the attack. Once that comes in, things become just infinitely harder here for Boom. In the meantime, Omega, they're going to try and pressure this mid-tier 1 tower. Very easy when you've got the Enchanted Creep plus the Siege Creep available. However, Yopaj going to try and make it more difficult. Does pop the Wukongs. Hero gonna be fine for now. PL's gonna jump in after Hyde, but won't have the damage output quite yet. But Prince, he's gonna go in and finish off the job. Nice pick up onto the Vayne. They'll just stand outside of the Wukongs with the siege creep still alive throughout all this. And they'll be able to secure the tier 1 anyway.
That's a really important pick-off for Omega. For Boom, you can't afford to have Hyde actually take point. Like, the Fiend's grip has to be protected. You have to protect that Vayne for that spell to come true. And if Hyde can't just hide in the tree line and has to play frontline, you're losing a major tool in these engagements. So they kind of have to give out their tier 1. They are starting to scout out. They've got the smoke. Yopaj and Tim's looking for a kill.
I feel like they need to get aggressive now. Tim's going to be there. Does have the Mystic Flare, but probably won't even need it. In fact, he'll throw it out. No need to hold it. Pretty low cooldown. In the meantime, mid lane though, FBZ's going to get caught out in the Earthshaker. He's just about 200 gold away from having the full blink up, but does get taken down beforehand.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, and that's an important item to slow down. That blink is going to be key for Boom to actually have some forward presence. That shifts the front line from Hyde to FBZ. Will allow Hyde to hide back. Just look for the grip opportunity you want.
Very there. Hyde to hide back. Very funny, Jonathan.
You mentioned this to me. I don't even know I'm making these jokes. I don't have the brain to sense it, Mike. And thank you. It's very clever.
I mean, I ignore half of them because some of them are just terrible.
Because I don't even know they're happening. No, to be fair, I have to say this about Hyde. For a while, he was going by Hydea for a very specific reason.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the manager of Kureha.
Yes,
if I'm correct.
Kureha, yeah. He was having so much fun in those lobbies. I know this guy he misses them. You should have seen him in Dreamwhistle and Pudge Wars. You should have heard Dreamwhistle. He just mauled it. Fun time. Still, he's not having that great of a time here, unfortunately, Mike. He just wants to hide as his name.
Thanks for
and
the
we'll
invite,
see if they do get that. If you're online that late, it's going to be tougher now with, savings time. But, next time around, if you're up late, Mike, you can hang with the cool kids.
I hate you, John.
Dire
Radiant Triangle. The ults.
Quite as slow now.
Yeah, they're not going to find the initiation. The Radiant Triangle was occupied. Boundless? Oh, it's a bit off the mark. Had that landed, they may have had enough control to just burst down POs with FBZ's Earthshaker, but they did not. On the brighter side, FBZ does have the blink up, so they're going to go for a big smoke up now. They'll leave CTM behind, they'll go as 4. Into that dire triangle is where they're headed.
Radiant are scanning.
Scan out, not going to catch anyone though. They've kind of gotten in at the wrong time. All they're going to find is a courier for Van. Oh, never mind, they are actually going to find the real hero. Van, he runs right into them. Teams will take another kill on the Skyram.
They don't even reveal the blink yet on FBZ, so they still have that pocket tool on hand if they want to go with a big slam coming forward, and that does help them bounce back through. Zenki's kind of putting his body out, does sacrifice his creeps, but they are protecting Prince by cutting off that ramp, so the troll does get to just go back to farming, not worry about too much. Still a very even game here, Mike. 12-17, 2k lead for Omega, but that's not significant enough for any major item advantage. The troll does have the Sange and the Maelstrom up, but it's not like CTM's lagging too far behind. He's just rushing a BKB. Once that Weaver does have the BKB, your only real lockdown for that is like duel, and I'm not sure if you really want to duel a Weaver here.
Omega grouped up, looking for a big fight. They could find Hyde first. That'll be a great target, but towards the south, who have they got? It's going to be the troll. Oh no, they haven't. The press the attack was there in time. Prince, he's going to be able to get the ulti off. Hyde spawned back. They want to try and force the fight, but it's too late. Omega, they have the high ground. And there you go, the press the attack from Van, making it just in time to allow Prince to pop the battle trance.
It's just so difficult. Boom has no way of kind of getting their control out with a press the attack right there. And that's why you can't afford to lose your Bane so early. And Omega are not backing off. They know they've got a good position here.
Yeah, I mean, why the hell not? The only thing you're really lacking right now is the battle trance, but you've still got a jewel to play with. You've still got all the spells of the Void Spirit. Hero still has the finger. The 3k lead they have right now, Omega will feel quite confident to just keep going down through the bot lane. And it seems like Boom Esports do not feel confident enough to try and stop them.
No. Without the
Radiant's bottom tower is
Wukongs,
under
they
attack.
don't really have much big presence. They could still try with Slam, but Omega's been doing a good job of just declumping anyway. And they have to find an answer for this LC. They have to protect Hyde. He really does have to take a backseat, go all the way back, have someone else cop the front. I think you'd prefer the Skyrat to actually die, because you need that grip. Even with the Ancient Seal, that's not going to stop the troll. The grip is what's going to stop the troll. You need to kind of bait out the LC with someone else. So, key thing for Boom is actually keeping their Pause 5 alive. Omega's doing a great job of just isolating Hyde, getting that kill they need, and taking control afterwards. Tier 2 down, gone. They take the outpost. They get control of the map. Boom still keeping that net worth lead down to 3k. So they're keeping up in farming pace, not allowing Omega to build a bigger lead off of it. It's still a worrying sign. CTM still lagging behind that troll. Yopaj still lagging behind Piols. FBZ is a bit ahead of the Legion commander, so you do have a slight advantage on that Shaker, but we haven't seen the big blink echoes yet. I think that does need to start coming through from Boom. Like, just getting the combination they want with a Shaker, with a Sky, with a Bane getting a good grip off. But they have to kill LC first thing. Like, if you don't kill Van, your team fights might not just come out at all on the side of Boom.
Sorry, John, I believe we're having some connection issues right now, so the stream might be lagging quite a bit. I'm trying to resolve that as you were talking. We are still here, though, which is kind of good, but I'm not sure exactly what the viewers can see. We'll try to resolve that ASAP. Well, luckily for us, there's no team fights going on right now, so that's definitely some decent timing, I suppose.
You know what it is, Mike? It's Halloween! The networks are spooked! The NBN is hiding, it's hiding and shivering right now. Oh, good grip!
Yeah, Tim's, he's going to get taken down, but towards the north, they've got a grip out onto Van. They'll surely find the LC. He's still running, but it's not going to be enough. Still Prince, he'll intercept onto Hyde. Eventually, they might just be able to finish off this kills. Piols, he's trying to move in with the Aether Remnant. Not going to catch Hyde, but I think eventually... Just thought he had the kill initially before the South came in. It does not work the same way anymore, but it won't matter. A bit of commitment to try and find the Enchantress. In fact, kill the Enchantress.
In the end, they do find a Legion commander for their Bane. Protection of that press the attack and build up. The importance of that grip. To be fair, the BKB is a double.
Certainly so. F1. Gonna smoke up top lane. They'll spot out Tim for his... The Fiend's grip as well, so they might be able to make something happen. Tim... Exactly where he's gone. They'll be able to burst him. His way with him. Looks like eventually they'll close the gap. They'll get it done. It'll be at 13 to 23 now, 3k net worth advantage for Omega. And Boom, they're still backs against the wall right now. You've still got CTM farming very nicely, but it hasn't transitioned to a decent team fight.
No, not yet. And for Omega, this is a huge opening. They get to start on the Roshan. They do spot out Yopaj in 3 lines well, but they don't really want to commit. The Rosh is going to be a hard objective for Boom to fight into. They do have Slam and Wukongs. They could attempt here.
They are going to try. They've got Piols. Mystic Flare's out. Echo Slam committed. They've got the Void Spirit down. A lot of gold going the way of the Monkey King. A massive pick up there for Yopaj. That's going to put an end to the Roshan attempt. In fact, now Zenki will be chased down. Only problem is he's very hard to take out. They're going to try. There's no real decent chance here. The Enchantress, she'll be fine. CTM now going to move in. A big fish around FBZ. He caught 2. They'll burst down Hero, and then they move for the others now. Van, he'll be the next target. They've got the LC and CTM. He'll take another kill as now maybe they can finally take care of this Enchantress. And even the Fiend's Grip being committed just to really ensure they get the job done.
It's still a major fight to win. That's the first team fight that went smoothly for Boom. They managed to cut off the Legion commander, force the fight in a very wide area so the Prestige tank couldn't come in to save. And now they get to clean up Rush. The respawns are short though, so they can run up here with Prince.
Gonna try. Nightmare's there to hold him down, however. And eventually, not only do they get the Aegis, but they might have themselves a troll kill. Hyde, however, is going to be taken down by Piols. It's going to be it. In fact, never mind, it is not going to be it. CTM was left behind. Uh-oh. He ran the other way, CTM. Gonna BKB and just Sakuchi out. But that'll be the Aegis going down immediately. So while you deny it away from Omega, but then it gets denied away from Boom.
Yeah, it's an awkward trade. It looks like communication wasn't quite lined up for Boom. They were kind of on the opposite end after Weaver, and they lose out. Although
Hero, Yopaj, he'll just take an easy kill for himself. Understands they can't do much else at Hero. Oh, you give the tip over, right? Like, what are you gonna do? It's a lot of commitment.
yeah, it really is. Like BKB down to 8 seconds just for a line kill. They can't really build up off of it. They will manage to defend their tier 2 though, and they don't have to worry about that instant hex on their key heroes up front. So the push coming through from Omega is going to be slowing down. They are still keeping up in pace though. Like Prince, he's going to go for the Basher next. That makes it hard for the Weaver to even fight with the BKB. Pialt has the Ags up. So the AoE silence is there. They managed to catch the supports again. There's no counterplay for Hyde and for Tims to prevent that. And for Boom, the supports count for so much. The supports are a lot of their control. The supports are a lot of their magic damage. In fact, the only real source of magic damage they have here. And once you clear out Tims and Hyde, the rest of the cores are going to be pretty easy to handle for Omega.
Boom Esports. Move in through that top tier 2 tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Force out the glyph.
Dire's
Very early on here
structures
from
are
Omega.
fortified.
The rest of this Dire still running through the mid lane. Trying to apply pressure to force them back, but you've got your Paj and FBZ around to try and slow this down as best as possible. While CTM and the rest of the crew are trying to take that top tier 2. Omega, they have not backed off. They are committed. TPs are slowly coming in. Omega, they'll need to run. Prince, though, sticking around for another creep wave. This could be dangerous. Gotta watch out for that echo from FBZ. Prince, still very far forward. He's got Van right behind him. However, meanwhile, Piols, he's going to jump in. He's spotted out high, but the Fisher Echo is committed. FBZ, he's got one. He might have a second, but not quite. There is Piols riding away. CTM, he'll be on the chase, but he cannot run into 4. They were very close there to at least pick off the Void Spirit, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, it's a support for a support trade in the end, but it took much more commitment out from Boom to get those kills. So BKB is blown open once more. Wukong's down for a minute 10. That could still open up the mid push for Omega if they were feeling willing, but they don't really manage to do so.
Paj very close, hits the Boundless Strike. He's still having a look around for Piols. Is going to spot him out. Doubt he has enough damage though. Not without that Boundless. It's kind of threatening him back to the fountain.
Yep, just shoving him all the way back.
Radiant's middle
They will
tower
still
is
clump
under
up
attack.
mid. Prince is still there. He's still going to lay it on that tier 2.
Oh, Mystic Flare, but this... Oh, the Force Staff!
Ooh.
Radiant's
Who did
top
that?
tower is
I believe that was not Zenki either, so maybe a bit of a misplay. Nevertheless, they still got the kill. Ban now to be chased down by CTM. It should be another easy kill, and it will be. They even found the Enchantress.
Oh,
2 4-star.
that was... I think that was FBZ. You just got the really good 4-staff forward, and then you suddenly isolate that core away from the Legion Commander. Such a great play. And that is a bit of a toughie to pull off, because they only had such a small window with the first tick of Fiend's Grip, but then the immediate 4-staff secured it. And Omega's going to have to be careful about that. When they lose their big core, they don't get the tier 2. Their own tier 2 mids being pressured in. Without their troll, without the LC, it's very hard to actually defend. And Boom suddenly swing this game their way. 2K lead on their hand, 22-25. They can capture the top outpost to set up for the next Roshan in about 3 to 5 minutes. They hit these big item spike on Yopaj. He's got Deso up along with the Orb of Corrosion. A lot of minus armor flying through from our Monkey King. Plays really nicely with the Swarm. We talked about that minus armor synergy in the draft, Mike. Once it piles up, you can rip through these heroes. They're not very tanky yet. Tankiest is probably Prince. Piols is not looking too good in durability, neither is Van. So you can just melt through them. Even the supports aren't going to last too long. And this is giving Boom their power peaks coming up, right? Like they are getting their damage out, they're getting the control, they're getting the plays off. We will have to see FVZ kind of line up for that 4-staff.
Hero.
Pretty much everything we can.
Yeah, top lane those. Oh, nice Nightmare dodge there from Hyde. CTM was surely dead, but not quite. Hyde will get the tip immediately from Hero. So he actually juked out that last astral step that was coming in. Very close call from CTM. And they go, top T2 tower. It's still standing. I don't believe the Dire have a glyph available, so it should just drop here and we'll finally allow the outpost to be... Oh, it actually was already taken. They have the mid tier 2. Never mind that. It'll allow a smoke up, though, from Boom Esports. Where are we headed? Yols. Smells something's wrong. And scouted out here. They should have seen Yopaj, but the balance is already there. Into the Fissure. Eventually the Mystic Flare will come in. Another kill here for Boom Esports, and well, now the net worth has shifted nicely. And whose Paladin Sword is that?
That was Omega's. I think Piols farmed the camp and left it behind. Had to bail out, so a nice pickup for Boom. They've got double Paladin Sword. Yopaj would enjoy that if he wanted to pick it up, but he is using that Mindbreaker quite nicely. That instant silence on initiation lines up for such a great time in fights, and I don't think he's going to leave it behind. You do take that tool away from the troll. That does hurt Prince a bit. Still on the side of Omega. They're holding their high ground. I think Omega right now needs better vision. They've got these wards down bot. They haven't been able to play in that area in quite some time. They need to start thinking about Roshan. We're a minute away from the earliest respawn. We're going to see that timer soon. But that second Rosh is big. They need to protect it for the troll. They need to get control back in their top jungle. They will smoke out, but again, limited vision here. You only kind of see the heroes taking the outpost, but that's a long ways off for this run.
They're still going to try with this big 4-man smoke up. Seen Hero, he's been pretty great with these initiations on the line. So you'd love to find CTM straight off the bat if you can. Not too easy of a target, but you need that Hexa. Piols. Maybe he's spotted out. Yopaj. Oh, he's going to move in. Aether Remnant does connect, but they've got the Fissure. Earth Spike is nice, though. CTM, he's been caught out. He gets the BKB time-lapse, and now the Fiend's Rip comes in. They can't purge it off. Prince, he'll finally get out of it. Onto Yopaj he goes, but he dies, and now FBZ jumps in with a massive Echo Slam. Onto 3. Zenki's going to try and run, but there is no running. Perfect team fight from Boom Esports. Omega, they tried, but just completely outplayed in the mid lane.
And that's the risk of that BKB use on the troll. Like, you do want protection, but that cuts off your big dispel. That ensures that the Fiend's Grip actually goes through, and it makes it tough for Omega to find that angle. They have to make these very careful, deliberate choices on item use, and Boom just forces it in the worst way possible for Omega. They go into the high ground. It doesn't take too long when you have this much minus armor on Yopaj. The tower's just going to melt. They've got the physical damage outputs as well. No early buybacks. Respawns are short, so they might make it to prevent a second set of racks, but at least one melee racks is going to go here.
Are under attack.
Surely. They have left CTM to get the job done, but yeah, he's got time lapse. He'll be just fine. Hold on. I didn't realize, John. I know we haven't seen many duels. There's not 1 ounce of duel damage on Van.
You know, thinking about it, I don't think we've actually seen a
We
duel
haven't
from
seen
Van.
one. We
No.
really haven't, have we?
It's like they made this pick just for the press the attack, which makes sense. But just to not see that single piece of control, which can be so impactful, is a bit worrying. To be fair, there aren't really great targets to duel. Like, if you duel the supports, I think even without the duel, if you catch one out, they're dead. I think your ideal situation is to duel the Weaver, but CTM's positioning has made it that it's nearly impossible for Van to do that without a blink. Right? He's just been so focused on trying to get durable, trying to provide dispels for his team. He has not had the opportunity to farm himself a blink, to isolate these cores. And it's a massive risk. If you take that duel against, say, the Weaver, there's still a lot of damage that can fly through from Boom. Honestly, I don't know how you fit that duel in, because they're so focused on the press the attack that just that, 4.75 second window where you can't cast your spell, it's a bigger opening for Boom than it is for Omega. So I can see why Van is being really conservative with it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, John, he's got the level 10 talent for the plus 200 dual cast range. So, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, you've got the talent, but if you never use dual, what's the point? So, it's been a tough game. I understand why he has not committed it, but it feels sort of wasteful when you're only using your W. In the meantime, double damage on CTM. Right before a Roshan, of course. Wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you, Mr. Ice Frog and Gaben. Here we go. Roshan, he'll just melt. No problems here for the side of Boom Esports.
Oh, yeah. Just an easy take. Shard and beyond the table. Already have it on FUZ, so we're just going to hand it over to CTM. Lower cooldown on Swarm. Latching on, revealing Invis units, and a Geminate attack as well. So much more damage flying through from Weaver with that Shard upgrade. And that does mean CTM has even more presence here. It makes it harder for Omega to even just angle around if they get caught by the Swarm. Their locations immediately revealed, and it's much more spammable. So it makes it tough for Omega. 11k lead for Boom now. You take a look at that graph, Mike. For a long time, Omega in the laning phase into the mid game, they had such a good start. And then just the execution falls apart at this point. Like, Boom finds one small mistake, that 4-staff play on mid, and it blows the game wide open. I think Omega's got to be a lot more cautious now as they go in, and a lot more considerate on their item use, especially on Prince. Like, he has to really think twice about when that BKB goes off.
They're going to try and make their way into that dire triangle, it looks like. There is a 3-man smoke. Maybe CTM to bait here for his team. See if Omega want to try and take this bait, but it does feel somewhat obvious. So he'll keep going towards that top tier 1 tower, but of course Omega will be well and truly aware that Boom is around right now.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Omega, they'll just hold that high ground. Zenki. And move in, but they're being very cautious. Don't forget, Hyde. This is the man you've got to watch in that Bane. Like, you cannot allow the Fiend Strip to freely come out onto your Troll Warlord. Even with the status resist he's got going on this Troll, it's just too much time to be held down. Now still waiting, just watching while that bottom tier 2 tower does drop slowly but surely. There's your 5-man smoke up. They've got to try something. They'll move in, they'll loop around the long way through the river. Prince on the front lines for the team. And you need Van behind just to have that press the attack going.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
No vision to scout this out, but they do have an Absorber Ward to check out the tree line here for Boom Esports at the very least. There's just initiation. They go straight onto Van, but he's not dead yet quite yet. He's alright. He'll survive in the backside. Prince, he's going in after FBZ. Run of the shake, but there's your Fiend Script out. No, it's cancelled off immediately. Hyde, he was there, but he does get taken down eventually. FBZ is still just stuck in the tree line right now. Could not move. Will eventually try to run his way out, but they will have their way with him. Buyback immediate though, Zyabash, he'll keep the fight up onto Zenki, and now Tims will get stepped through. Piol's gone towards the south. Zenki will be left behind. I suppose at the very least, CTM does lose the Aegis, so it's not really too bad of a team fight here for Omega. In fact, it looks like they did come out on top.
Yeah, I'd say they managed to get the targets they want. They forced the buyback on one, and they hold off on the high ground push. So they get more time to build up. The ward placement was really good from Boom, but the counter ward placement from Omega just made it that they also had a vision advantage, or at least the equal information on hand to make those choices. Piolets is pretty forward though.
Let's get the kill onto Tim's, but you'd hope it doesn't cost him his own life. He needs 10 seconds for an astral step charge, man. He's going to be there to protect him anyway. Prince going to go in after CTM. There's no Aegis left on that Weaver, so he's certainly more susceptible. Still a very difficult kill though, as now Van's being chased down. Yapaj, he'll land a stun, but Hero is there to protect him. Still lock him down long enough. Meanwhile on the backside, Prince, he's going to rush in right after the Bane again. Hyde is gone. Battle Trance is there. They've got the vision of the monkey in the tree line, but Prince will just continue chasing him down. Yapaj is still getting attacked. He'll turn around, but eventually does drop. And now the duel comes out. It's finally there, but it works out for CTM. Oh no. The first duel damage of the game, going the enemy's way. You've got to wonder, John, is there a point in leveling up duel in this kind of game? Like, would you rather not just level up stats?
Yeah, at this point, you might actually prefer that. The single target control is nice, but again, it's such a massive risk as a control piece in Omega's lineup. They do still find that really nice kill onto Yopaj, so it does kind of hold off on the aggression of Boom, but their 3 heroes down on Omega's side. CTM's feeling confident.
Well, Zenki almost drops just 3 hits from CTM. Not quite enough, but well, now with the butterfly up, maybe it would have been enough. We'll find out soon, I'm sure. Just get the bot racks. No overextending here for Boom. It's already been a pretty tough first half of the game for them. They won't risk anything. Omega, though, I mean, they're in dire straits right now. Like, you look at this Troll, he's farmed really well, but once the Battle Trance is gone, it just feels like he doesn't really offer anything. I feel like that's been the problem with Troll for such a long time.
Yeah, he's just so limited to that spell and playing on edge. Even with the Battle Trance though, Mike, there are double butterflies coming through. You have it on CTM as pointed out, and you'll have it in Yopaj. So you have 30% evasion just blocking off a lot of that physical output. And you're nowhere close for Prince to go for something like a Bloodtorn or an MKB. It's just so far off, so it's even harder for him to actually lay that damage out.
Yols, nice jump in. That's the target you want to start with every single time. You love to see Hyde die if you're an Omega fan. In the meantime, though, Boom, the problem is they can't capitalize off it. So Boom's just going to back off, back to safety. Omega, maybe they could go for a smoke in the 35 seconds they have, but I suppose even then you've got Hyde with a buyback anyway, so they're not really going to be able to capitalize too much.
Yeah, you're just going to have to use this time to get control back on their side of the river, plant some wards, build up. At least they do deny the double damage rune, so you don't have to worry about a hyper-powered Monkey King or Weaver coming through. But still, they're free. Yeah, it's been a bit of a bane for Yopaj in that area. Just been constantly spotted out while jumping through the tree line there. They can't really capitalize. The side of Boom now could just wait for the next Roche here. A minute and a half until we see that respawn time for sure. They've got control on the map. They've got 2 lanes shoving in their favor. They can just kind of sit and wait here. There's no rush for Boom. Omega, again, I think Prince has to start to gravitate towards some True Strike, or at least some piercing damage to come through to deal with that evasion, because he is the bulk of their damage now, and if he can't get hits off, then but the Monkey King and Weaver is just going to take control with their double butterflies up.
Boom's still just kind of waiting around for the next Roshan. Omega not quite in position to be set up for the next Roshan attempt, but they've still got 40 seconds till we find out when it's coming up. In the meantime, FBZ, Aghanim Scepter up. Some jumping around here from FBZ to do. Plenty of mobility though, the 4-star blink and now the Ags up. Much harder to expect to catch him out of the shaker. And there you go, 5-man smoke. Prince, he's going to cop a concussive shot straight off the bat. They don't seem to want to start on the Troll. Of course, you want to try and find Van, and they found it. The Boundless Strike is there. It's the Fisher, and the follow-up lockdown into the Echo Slam. Van, he will get dropped. They'll buy back. Do you want to continue this fight as Boom? It looks like the answer is going to be yes. The CTM's moved in now, and look at the damage output. My goodness. Just ripping right through Zenki. This Prince, he's going to back. Will move back in, however. But they will not continue this team fight.
Yeah, they can't afford to risk on Omega's side. Boom, they find the target they want. They manage to force the buyback on the LC. So if they actually kill Van again, that opens up the high ground. Without that Dispel, without the duel to worry about, it's going to give a big opportunity for Boom. And that's a really well-timed fight. Roshan is up in 40 seconds. That's something that Omega is going to have to contest, as their high ground is in a very vulnerable spot now. But they lose control of the jungle. So Boom managed to take back the area where most of the flanking can be done from Omega's side. And they're going to have to really be cautious. Their vision is still there on the triangle. That's the safest spot they can play in. There is counter vision there from Boom as well. So I think right now Omega's going to be stuck just pushing waves. Maybe waiting for that smoke opportunity to check Roche down the line. But it's going to be soon. 10 seconds away. Omega has to be a bit ready for it.
5 seconds. Yopaj, she'll get the vision for the team. Nice little patience here from our Monkey King, and he'll get the vision he's looking for. Omega, again, like you mentioned, John, they're not in position to try and contest this. In fact, even if they were, they may decide not to. But I feel like it's almost suicide not to try and go after this Roshan. You've got a Refresher Shard available on it as well, so double Wukongs, double Fiend's Grip, double Echo, whichever one you want. They'll go for a 5-man smoke, but it's not going to work out. Just way too late. And it looks like Boom has decided they want the double Wukong's command. I can't quite blame them.
Yeah, it just ensures that Yopaj can casually throw it out for a pickoff, set up for another one, and rinse and repeat. Omega, they're looking to force the fight outside though. This could be clever.
FBZ, they look at that high ground tactic. He's got the vision, he'll break the smoke and he's out of there. Prince, he's still front lining, looking to move in and find a target. Yopaj's on the backside. He's got a 3-man boundless strikeout. Zenki and Hero both going down, and look at Van. He can't survive this. He'll try to run, but CTM's on him. See you later. Omega Esports just gets shredded by Boom. What an initiation by the idol, Yopaj.
Ooh,
That's
man.
it, GG.
Yeah.
That's enough.
There's no like they lost all their defense there, no buyback control. Omega showing us again, early game, laning phase, really smooth. Execution towards late game, mid game, fell a bit flat, but I don't think that was their fault. Like, who would have expected that fight in mid? That 4-staff play, just, they were in position. That was a very good position for Omega. They had the LC hanging in the back on max range for to press the attack. And they had the troll hitting the tier 2. But then just the grip coming through, immediate 4-staff forward to prevent the LC from cutting through the tree line. And just clean up. It's small mistakes like that that kind of separate Boom from Omega right now. And I think Omega's going to have to reconsider their strategies. The foundation of Omega is there. The early game looked really scuffed for Boom again. Omega just ran down the lanes, had a great time, built up very fast. But Boom just has this ability to see those small mistakes and kind of capitalize on them. So we'll have to see if Omega learns. Still a good showing from them. Boom do go undefeated, and they do start to climb that score up here in the BTS Pro Series 9.
Yeah, no, it's still an impressive performance from Omega, right? Like, you've got to think, this is Boom Esports they're up against, and this is a star-studded lineup. So the performance they put on, at least for both games in the first halves, was very, very strong from Omega. And I look forward to seeing them again. In fact, we're going to see them again right now, John. Next series up, Omega Esports. Who are we up against? It's going to be OB Neon. Imagine that. Boom and then OB. So it's MLP Dota, it's JohnXfire, and it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. In fact, make it 20 minutes, apparently, from our admin. 20-minute break. We'll be back for the next series between Omega and OB Neon.